welcome to Chutzpah time.
Hello, Jacqui.
It's nice to see you. Nice to hear you.
You too. Thank you.
Well, it's Independence Day.
Yes.
And this is going to be the first part of our All About the U.S. very noisy truck coming by
Yes.
podcast series.
Oh my God.
So, for the month of July, we are doing a special series called All About the U.S. In this 4-part series, we will dive in and go deep on social, historical, and maybe even political aspects of the United States of America. We do have several amazing guests throughout the month that are gonna bring their own experience and expertise. I'm very excited about that.
Can't wait.
And you know it wouldn't be chutzpah time without our own input. So we hope everybody enjoys listening, and we're going to just get into it and talk about these hot topics.
Yes. Hot. Hot topics.
So today's Independence Day, and we want to talk about independence kind of in general, not necessarily about the United States, even though this is the name of the series.
I will say that the U.S. is 244 years old.
Oh.
And she's large and in charge.
Well, I guess we can say happy birthday, America.
America.
And let's get into the episode that is about independence.
Yeah.
Cool. So what do you think of when you hear the word independence, Jasmin?
And when I close my eyes
Yeah.
and see the word independence.
And another truck passing by.
Yes.
This is a very loud one.
Might even be a bus. Independence, I would say, like, for me, it's really like individual. When I think about the word independence, I think about like the ideal of you, individual, that can basically do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So kind of like what the U.S. was founded about.
Oh, right. That's true. Being free and being independent to do whatever it is you want to do and practice whatever religion you want to practice.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think of when you hear that word?
Independence. Well, I hear independence, so undependent, so not dependent, which is you are self-sustaining. You don't need anything or anybody to live your life, you know? So just like, I think of being like unleashed almost. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's
like,
really cool. That's really like two different ways to look at it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
When did you first feel independent?
Wow.
Let loose.
In a way, I feel like I've always been an independent person. Even as a child, I've always had like my own opinion, and I guess I always felt different, and I always felt, I don't know how to say it, but like,
Your own?
like a person, you know, like
Yeah.
sometimes like when you're a kid, you're not a person yet.
Right.
But I feel like I was a person from a young age.
Wow.
So like maybe mature is the meaning, and with that, like feeling independent in my view of the world, and just like I don't know. And then I always like was dreaming of the day that I could like be on my own.
Wow.
Yeah, like when I was 14, I really wanted to be 16 because for some reason I thought that's when I will be like independent. And
it's like, not yet.
yeah, and then when I was 16, I wanted to be 18 because that's when you're legally independent.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like maybe I've always been an independent soul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just my
Yeah.
personality is very, yeah, yeah,
You're in your own skin.
yeah, I guess. I have my own ways,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
And
What about you?
for me, it was when I was 18, or like when I was 12, I wanted to be 18.
Yeah.
And I knew, honey, she gonna be.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You felt like the legal aspect of being independent. That was it for you.
Yeah, and a big part of that was going to school. Like, I remember every day thinking, I can't believe I have to come here every day. Like, I was really like, I can't believe I have to sit in this classroom right now. It was just mind-boggling to me.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, Jasmine. I think you meant mind-boggling.
Yeah, but I always say mind-boggling. And I think about a bottle, like I'm in a bottle. And
Wow.
somebody's shaking it.
Oh.
So that's mind-boggling to me. I was like, I can't believe I have to be here like every day.
Yeah.
I was just shocked.
Commitment.
Yeah. And I would like leave the classroom randomly and not go to the class and
Yeah.
I like to. It's kind of creepy, like now thinking about it then. Me laying outside knowing that everybody has to be in the classroom and I'm not in the classroom
Wow.
gave me so much joy.
Well, you felt independent. Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I remember it so strongly.
It's weird because I feel like as a child, like the only thing that is expected of you is kind of to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's like your responsibility. And the more you grow up and the more independent you become, the more responsibilities you have, which in a way take away your independence because then you have to, like, you have to make those responsibilities like
Yeah.
rent and bills and
You have to.
yeah, so it's like being independent doesn't necessarily mean that you're free.
That's something that, like, you know, when I was a kid saying I can't wait to be an adult, that meant being independent.
Yeah.
But being an adult is so restricting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the lifestyle of adulthood is so restricting in a way.
Yeah. And also I think like independence is associated with freedom because like on, you know, on a country level, you know, the United States being independent meant it was not part of the United Kingdom anymore. It was
Yeah.
its own country. And as a person, sometimes you think like, okay, independence means that you're free, but in reality, you have more responsibilities. And in an essence, are you really free?
I really like that point, and it's a really solid, like, I need to think about
Right.
that.
No, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have an answer also. I just thought of it when you were like talking about being at school and being outside of class and like feeling like independent and I think free because like
Yeah.
I'm not being in the classroom forced to do something I don't want to do.
Right.
But then like when you actually are independent, you have the responsibility of keeping yourself alive.
Yeah.
One, like that's the most basic responsibility you have. And to do that most of the time, that comes with responsibilities and therefore sometimes doing things that you don't necessarily want to do.
Always doing things you don't want to do.
So I was like, doesn't
That's
sound
so-
very free to me.
That's so interesting and true.
Yeah.
But something that you taught me is how do you flip that coin? And how do you, and that's like, I think what you try and do for a long time is like, especially in your 20s, you're like shocked. You're like,
Yeah. Oh, this is not what I expected.
I need to do this now. I need to call them and tell them that my bill is more than it was last month, and it shouldn't,
Oh, yeah.
because it's supposed to be $80 every month, and all of a sudden it's 90. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So like that's like a good example of something that you don't even think about.
Right. You
And
don't
then-
realize. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're just faced with it, a bill on your name with a amount that you didn't expect.
Bummer.
So I love it. That's a really good point, and it's something to think about. Is like, but my point was, once you get used to that state,
Yeah.
and you know to not expect things to go the way they're supposed to, so to speak,
Right.
then you start thinking, well, how can I be ahead of this game or curve?
Yeah. Yeah.
How can I be independent? Like emotionally,
Right.
in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of life also, nothing, you got to work hard for things. So maybe, we need to like work hard at something that is pleasurable to us, and then we don't mind working hard at it.
Right.
But yeah, you can't get away from, the random tasks that you have to do, like washing the dishes and, whatever it is that you hate to do.
Yeah. Whatever it is that gets you.
Yeah.
So, when did you first start working?
Oh, my first job? Well, it depends on what you count as a first job, but
I
like
agree.
babysitting was my first job and I was 13. But I don't count that as a job.
Okay, for you, like, what was the first job that you're like, wow, this is like my first job?
My first job, like with a paycheck, was at a noodle bar in Tel
I
Aviv.
remember.
Yeah.
I forget, but then when you say that, I'm like, I remember that.
Yeah, I used to work at the counter, and people, like, we had a display of, like, all this veggies that you could put in your noodles. And it was such a good deal. Also, it's like 15 shekels, which is,
cheap.
like, $4.
Yeah.
And you could, like, you got a nice big, like, bowl of noodles with, like, whatever veggies you wanted to put in it.
Yeah.
And I would ask people, do you want mushrooms? Do you want onion? Do you want peppers? And if, I would just put it in the bowl with the noodles and give it to the walk guy. And I got fired from that job.
Yay.
Yeah. And then, that was my first job. And it was cool. I mean, I was, 15 probably? Yeah, 15. And I just did it twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it. I mean, it was my first, adult activity, I guess.
Yeah.
Is your work.
Yeah.
Like, because when you're in school, you're like a child still.
Yeah.
And when you're like doing a job and being paid for it, it's like, oh, this is the real world.
She different.
I mean, yeah.
It's like making out like when you're like 15
Yeah.
and then making out when you're like
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, maybe. And that's also like independence
That's true.
in a way. Or just growing up. I don't know. I feel like independence and growing up kind of go together. Like
Weirdly.
you gotta be a certain level of mature.
I don't know.
To be independent.
Like-
But then I always felt independent. I don't know. Anyway, going back. That was my first job.
So that was your first job.
Yeah.
My first real job was at a grocery store.
No.
Yeah. And I was fucking...
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. I did not give a shit.
You were the cashier.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How old were you?
Literally 15.
How did they
It's
let
illegal.
you deal with money?
Yeah, I was dealing with cash. I don't even know math.
Oh my god.
I was dealing with cash, dude. I did not care. I remember one of, like, my favorite Israeli comedian came in.
Who, Adir Miller?
Adi Ashkenazi.
Oh.
She came in, and there was a line of people in my cashier point. And, okay, so she's shopping, right? She's doing her thing. She's
Yeah.
just a normal person shopping.
She's not at the cashier.
No.
Okay.
She's at the store shopping, and I am staring at her. And I am moving. I'm doing the like slowest cashier job ever. I'm like staring at her and just I'm not even looking at what I'm taking.
Oh my god.
I'm like looking at her and I'm taking something and I'm just waiting for the beep sound and then moving it over.
Whoa.
Like very slowly until the person that I was like helping,
Right? Quotes. Yeah.
the person I was holding up was literally like, I know it's shocking, but but she's like a real person. Like that's what
they said.
he was like, I know it's breathtaking,
Oh my god.
but don't hold your breath. Like something like that. Like, dude, what
Whoa.
the fuck? Like, can you please do your job? And I was like, and then I like gave him a face and I'm like, you don't understand, right? Like a bitch face. Like, shut up, bitch.
Oh my god.
And I was like, yeah.
Oh my god. I cannot imagine you doing that for like 5 minutes.
Dude, I was so lucky because the chef at the restaurant across the street
Yeah.
came in to fucking shop,
Yeah.
but like, you know, they ran out of milk, right? So he used to come and buy something.
Yeah.
And I was there. But he like fell in love with me, right?
Oh my god.
He was in gay Arab.
Oh, that's how you got into Love It?
Yes.
Oh.
So he used to see me and I'd be
It
like,
was a click.
hi, yeah. Because I'm like, gay man, I loved him.
Yeah.
So I was like, hi. And he's like, hi. What are you doing here? And I was like, I don't know.
Oh my god.
Literally.
You see, this is why you got it right. Because you
Yeah.
just elevate yourself from job to job. That's how you got to your current job.
Yeah.
You were a
Literally.
barista and one of the clients recommended you.
Yeah. I got to know a bunch of people who worked at the same mall.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same story.
Yeah.
Like, I would make really good coffee and they would come and I'd remember their drink. And
Yeah.
it's like 10 people. And they're like, you have to come. Like, and I was like, okay. Applied for like 8 months.
Yeah. But still,
But yeah,
it didn't work out that way for me for the most part.
I'm sorry.
I got fired from a lot of my jobs.
Me
even
too,
though I was
though.
a very good employee, in my opinion. They didn't think so, obviously.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Me too.
No, but it's tough when you're young.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I really got what a workplace means until I was probably like 22.
I didn't understand. I still don't understand what a workplace is, but I'm still figuring it out. But like, every job was definitely a milestone for me, I feel
Yeah.
like. And this job has milestones within it.
Right. That's
So.
a good thing about a corporate job for
Yeah.
sure.
It's really cool. We're gonna take a break,
Oh, okay.
and we will be back.
Great. I can't wait.
Me too.
Okay. See ya.
Alrighty. One moment.
Hello. Welcome back.
Hi.
We missed ya.
Yes, honey. Today I spoke with my friend Francisco,
Yeah.
and I miss his hug.
Oh.
He's,
Mm.
You know when you miss squeezing someone?
Yeah.
That. So I have a fun question.
Okay.
What's your favorite first purchase?
Ooh. My favorite first purchase. Wow.
I have mine.
Okay, you go, because I don't know what mine is.
Okay, so with my love it job, I was a cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I saved money for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I bought the iPhone 5.
Wow.
And I remember that the person selling it to me didn't know, like, what the fuck is going on here. Because I look like I'm 12.
Yeah.
And I'm coming in with all this cash to buy an iPhone. Like, no parents, no anybody.
Yeah.
Just me. And it was so much fun.
That is fun. That's a good purchase.
Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely when Vlad and I got our iPhone 4s, it was very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was so new. Such a new technology.
It's so cool.
Yeah. I really can't think of a favorite purchase. I can't think. It's weird, but I'm not like a materialistic person.
No, I get it.
So I think if I think of like something that I did with like something I did for myself was going to Berlin on my own.
That's cool.
And I feel like that's a very independent thing to do, is go abroad
Yeah.
to a foreign country on your own. And just like for no reason. Also, I just wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt like very, like, oh, she going on a plane, honey. Like, I felt very like high above.
Yeah, high society.
Yeah. I had my sunglasses, It was like I had an outfit together.
And I love when you told me, like, people were talking to me in Germany.
In German, yeah. They thought I was German. Yeah, but I'm not.
I know, I don't know English, but...
No, it's okay. Yeah, and I had to be
But
like, sorry, don't speak German.
Yeah, you were, like, super excited that
Yeah.
people didn't think you were a tourist.
Right, yeah.
And that was cute.
Yeah, so that would be like a purchase, I guess, because I did pay for it myself.
Yes. No, I was like, that's super cool. Like, oh my God, she's going by herself to a foreign country. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a great experience, and I feel like I recommend, like, people do that. Like, just go on their own somewhere they've never been before.
Yeah. Great leading to the next question, which is, when you moved out of the house,
Yeah.
did you feel like it was liberating?
Yeah, I mean, I moved out when I was 15, and yeah, of course it was liberating because I was living an adult life at 15, so I felt very like, on my own. I lived with my boyfriend at the time, and it was great because I wanted to be responsible. Like, it's not like I moved out to be reckless.
No, yeah.
You know, I wanted to go to school and finish high school, and like just have like my own space to do that and be like independent, be, you know, in my own terms.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was very helpful. And I kind of went back for a year, and then I moved out again when I was like, I went back when I was 16, so I moved back out again when I was 17. And I love it. I mean, I'm a very, like I said, very independent person, so I'm not, you know, I've never had like a fear of being alone or a fear of I'm not gonna make it. Like, I always feel like I trust myself that I'm gonna figure it out. And maybe that's also part of being like an independent person, is just like not being afraid,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
feeling secure, feeling self-sufficient, that you're like, yeah, I'm good. You know, I always thought like, oh, whatever, I can always work another shift, you know.
Oh my God. I feel like that's really self-confidence and self-esteem that needs to be at a certain point
Yeah.
to make that decision. Especially in that age.
Yeah.
And I think you made the best out of it.
Yeah, I tried, you know.
Yeah. And for me, it was, I don't know if liberating, it was just a very important thing for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I felt like I was standing up for my right.
Yeah, yeah.
almost.
Standing your grounds, for sure.
Yeah.
Also, like, taking your own future into your own hands, like not leaving
Yes.
it to our mother, but just like decided like to be like, I'm gonna take charge of myself now.
Right. And just as a reference, like at the time my mom got married and it was unclear where we're gonna move to.
Right.
And so instead of like staying in that unclear place,
She
moved
came to
in
move with
you.
me. Yeah.
Hello.
That was a crazy time because I was living at the time with roommates,
Yeah.
and Jasmin moved in with me into my room and brought all of her stuff, and we slept in the same bed.
That's crazy to me.
And Jasmin was your last year of high school.
Yes.
So you were still finishing high school. And it was, I'm very grateful for that time because I'm very proud of it. And I'm very happy that I could be there for you.
Same. And
And you were there for me too, that's true.
Yeah. And I felt really proud that we were able to like make it happen. And it turned out amazing. It was like a miracle almost, because the roommates moved like 3 months later, and
Jasmin, you moved into one of the roommates' rooms, and Vlad moved in too. So we were like a happy bunch.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like,
Yeah.
And then when that happened, I was like, you got this, girl. Like, I was back in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
And I was like stoked. We had such an amazing location.
Oh yeah, the best. Oh, the best location.
Like, looking back, I'm like, why did you leave?
That's for another episode. Yeah, and you finished high school also.
But thank God, yes.
So you were really an independent lady in the big city.
Honey. Speaking of independent, no. So we're both Jewish.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. That's the conclusion. Have you ever felt constricted by our own faith?
Well, I mean, I don't feel like Judaism is a restrictive religion, which may sound funny because there's all these things like kosher and Shabbat and, you know, rules. And if you're very, very traditional or Hasidic, yes, there are a lot of rules to follow.
Trillion, they say.
Really? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But I feel like in the core of being Jewish is actually your own choice, you have a choice. So it's not about, oh, if you do this, you're going to heaven. If you do that, you're going to hell. It's more about like being a good like person and just making a good input, like just being a good effect on your environment.
Yeah.
And it's your choice. I mean, you don't have to eat kosher if you don't want to, but you think about like, you know, how it says in the Bible, don't eat, it's like, don't eat a lamb in its mother's milk.
Right.
So it's like more about like thinking about what you're eating and where it came from and what had to happen for it to be in your plate. So it's more about that, I feel. Like,
very moral.
yeah, it's more about morals than about rules. So in a way, I don't feel like Judaism has ever restricted me of being myself. When I was younger, I was not into it.
Right.
I was very rebellious and I hated it and I was like not into it. Also, we grew up in a Jewish country, so obviously you will rebel against what you are in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so, but I never felt like it's the faith itself, you know?
I agree. I actually enjoy reading the Bible.
Confession.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So awkward. It's just, there's so many interesting stories in the Bible.
There
and
are.
like everything means something different in a way.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating to me, and it's very philosophical. So
It
it's
is.
like reading a book almost.
Yeah.
But of course, like I hated the holidays. That was a big thing for me.
Oh, yeah, you hated the
Like
holidays.
I just recently stopped hating the holidays, by the way. But I felt like, why do we have to do this? Why? So angry with the why.
Yeah.
And I was like over it.
Yeah. It's funny because I just thought of like the 10 Commandments that are like what you shouldn't do in Judaism and like how those are technically rules, but I don't want to like break any of those rules because they're like, you know, don't kill, don't cheat, don't steal, you know, things like that.
Those are things that don't hurt your independence.
Right.
And they enrich your life.
There you go.
So, like...
It's a positive rule.
Yeah, like, I don't want to steal.
Yeah.
I don't want to kill anybody. I don't want to lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it really aligns with what type of person I want to be. It's more of like a guidance.
Right.
Than like,
It's pretty basic also. It's
Literally?
not like the expectations are not high.
I remember, though, thinking to myself, if we all followed these, we would have a perfect world.
I
Like,
know.
it's
Yeah.
like, respect your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. And, like, no, I'm kidding. And, you know, just be good. That's all.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We're not judging anybody, except if you killed someone.
Oh my God.
Okay. That's cool.
We can move on now.
Yeah. We good. I don't feel like Judaism restricted me,
Yeah.
but there were things I did not want to practice at the time.
Yeah, and still, we're not the best Jews.
We don't go by what the rabbis say,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah.
We don't go by the interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's what I was like, I don't care what the rabbis say. I'm gonna go by the book, right? In a way.
Right. It's, yeah. It depends on, like, the stream of Judaism you go with and We are more what you would call reform, or which I don't necessarily agree with, but we're not
We're
traditional.
traditional.
We are traditional?
Yes, because
Oh.
we practice. It's like celebrating. Okay, it's like not going to church every Sunday,
Yeah.
but celebrating Easter. You're celebrating the tradition,
Yeah.
but you're not practicing the religion.
Oh. Okay. Thank you for explaining that, Jasmin.
Yeah, for sure.
That's great.
First time I taught Jacqui something. So tell us about a time you were able to do something that you wanted to do for a really long time, but you couldn't up until that point.
Whoa.
I'm trying to think if I even have an example.
Something I wanted to do but couldn't until I did it. Interesting. That's a very interesting question. Driving.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I first got my license in the United States because when we lived in Tel Aviv, it's a big city. There's no reason to get a car or a license.
Yeah.
So never got a license until 24? 25. Yeah. And it was really cool because
Wow.
because obviously everybody wants to drive a car. It is a symbol of independence to be able to move yourself around.
That's really true.
But there was just like, it's also like super expensive in Israel to get your license, and cars are super expensive, and it just didn't make sense, but I always wanted to. And I remember the first car I drove was actually in Albuquerque when we were visiting our aunt Maddie. Her best friend Gila
Yeah.
was like, I was telling her how we're gonna start like driving lessons when we get to Tucson, and she was like, do you want to drive my car? And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, we
forgot
can just
about
go
that.
to the parking lot. And I'm like, are you sure? I may like ruin it, like, 'cause I've literally never driven a vehicle before. And she was so nice and cool about it, and it wasn't that difficult actually.
No.
And that was like very liberating. I was like, oh, I think I can actually do this, because it's literally just like gas, brakes, but like before you do it, you don't know how you will be able to control this big machine.
Yeah.
And obviously it can be scary.
Yeah.
But that was like a very fun moment, because I was like, wow, this is something I've never done, and was kind of scared or worried that I would be bad at, and I think I can be good at this.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's fun. I mean, I love driving. I just hate like other people on the road.
Yes.
But yeah, operating a car is fun.
It is fun. I really enjoy it. Before we even moved to the US,
Yeah.
like I was like 16 and my friends let me drive their car.
Oh,
They like taught me how to drive.
wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of things about you today, Jasmin.
Thank you. It was really cool
Yeah.
because they were good. She taught me well. Like
Yeah.
she was a good teacher.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, before you like turn the car on or anything, look at me for a second.
Okay.
And she was like, you can take my life away
Oh.
and your life away.
Whoa.
This is not a joke. And I was like, wow. And she was like, yeah, that's it. You're good. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Way
I was like, dang.
to lay it down.
Yeah.
Like, way to put it out there, honey.
Yeah. And I was like, are you sure you want me to drive? And she was like, yeah, no, you're fine. Just so you know, my life is in your hands right now.
But it's so true about a car.
so
like,
true.
it's on one hand so easy to do, but on the other hand so dangerous, and one moment can like really, really turn into a bad situation. And it's very weird. Like,
No.
the extremes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a very good way to start teaching somebody to drive.
Yeah, it was a good lesson.
For sure.
Yeah.
But what that was that like the first, like the thing that you wanted to do but couldn't before you did it?
No. I always wanted to ride a horse.
Okay.
You never know what I'm gonna say.
Never.
It's amazing. I really wanted to ride a horse my whole life.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I finally I know how to drive. I've been living in the US for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I started working for this lady, and I would take care of her pet and drive her around places. That was my business.
Yeah.
And one day the cleaning girl came, and I was like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, I almost live here. And she's like, "Good, da da da." We start talking, and she's like, "Yeah, I have a bunch of horses, and I do this job to actually, it's like expensive to maintain them."
Oh, yes.
So she's like, "This really helps me because I love having horses, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
So this really helps me."
Well,
And
that's
I was-
cool.
Yeah.
Cleaning houses to maintain your horses.
What a good fit.
Yeah.
So I
awesome.
was like, "Oh my God, will you teach me?"
Wow.
Because she's had, she was telling me she had horses her whole life. And
Yeah.
so I was like, well, she obviously knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Will you teach me and I'll pay you?" And she was like, "Yes."
Nice.
So I took a few good lessons, and I love it. It's so awesome. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I did that because, first of all, it's an amazing animal.
Mm-hmm.
They have such a spirit.
Well, they say they have healing powers too.
They do.
Yeah.
And when I'm rich and famous, I want a horse, honey.
Oh, that's, it's a status symbol. It's like,
Yeah.
I can afford this.
But you know what's fun about, the thing that surprised me most is I enjoy brushing them. It's very relaxing. She was, of course, like, "You can brush my horse at any time."
Right.
Because she had 3.
Oh, wow.
So that's like a maintenance thing, because
Oh.
you have to brush them.
Yeah. They get fussy otherwise.
I think they start breaking out, their
Oh.
skin, actually.
Oh, wow.
Crazy. Anyway.
That's really cool, though. Yeah. I want to do that at some point, too.
Cool.
There is a place next to Prospect Park
Yes,
that you can do. It's not expensive. It's like $40 for an hour.
Yeah, that's what I paid.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
We can totally do it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Updates on that coming soon.
I hope so. I mean, one day.
Yeah.
So let's see.
What else? What else can we say about independence?
I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Did you want to talk about owning a business and how that affected you and your independence, or you're like,
Yeah.
I'm good?
No, I think, one of the coolest things about the United States is the opportunities here, and especially for being independent in the way of owning your own business and being your own boss.
It's amazing.
And it's really cool because it's much harder in other places, and it's not as hard here, just to get it running,
Right.
And we both had businesses, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I was a real estate agent, which is pretty much being an independent contractor is a legal definition. And it is running your own business. You have marketing expenses, you have office expenses, you need to acquire clients.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a business. And I learned so much, and I definitely like being my own boss.
Yeah.
And being free and independent in that way, that I make my own schedule. And I decide more what I want to do or where I want to do it, or, what I want to focus on. And I definitely think it's going to happen again soon.
Yes, honey.
Not in real estate, but being my own boss.
Yes. Amen, amen, amen.
Yeah. How about you?
So my first job in the U.S. is literally I opened my business.
Yeah. You are so brave, I have to say, being 19 in a new country, in a new city you've never lived in, and to decide, like, yeah, I'm going to start my own business. Like, I take my hat off
Thank you.
to you.
It was fun. I saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
I was like, all these people have dogs and they go to work, and then the dog, what do they do? And it literally word to mouth. I never thought that was a thing.
Yeah.
Until I lived it. And I became super busy.
Mm-hmm.
Very, like, within 2 months, pretty much.
Yeah. Grandma helped to spread the word. She told all her
Yes.
friends about your services, dog. What was it? Concierge, pet, and home concierge services.
It was pet and concierge
Yeah,
services.
yeah. And it was really cool because there was a real need with people that are retired. There are a lot of retired people in Tucson that have pets, like you said, and maybe they themselves can't take care of their pets as much as they want to or need to.
Yeah.
It was really a good idea. It was great.
It was fun, and I learned so much about myself and about people and about the U.S.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was such a literally liberating experience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
But
and
then came the taxes.
I know, the taxes are expensive, my friend.
That's the hardest part about owning your own business, but you gotta do it.
It's really...
Yeah. Speaking of, taxes are due. So that's what I've been working on today. Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that...
Would you do it again?
Not that,
Mm-hmm.
but I do see myself running my own show. And I hope that it's gonna happen soon. And
Yeah.
even if I do it like on the side while having another job,
Right.
and kind of like slowly
Yeah.
doing like the slow path.
Well, it's kind of like, what we're doing with the podcast is not profitable yet, but
Right.
it's a cool thing that we're able to do.
Yeah, and you know what? We're doing one thing that's creative, and then it's a stream. So then it like starts providing more ideas for you.
Yeah.
And it kind of gets the
Juices flowing.
Yeah, and I think that's what's good. If you can do something to spark
Yeah.
the fire, like
Yeah.
that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah. It's important, I think, whether you are, an independent contractor or business owner or an employee, it's important to have your own like projects that you're doing that are like you said, like your creative outlet or just be for fun. And I feel like the American lifestyle is more about that than a lot of other places. And like self expression and hobbies and things like that, that's such a developed concept here, and I really love that about the United States, that you can really like invest in yourself and invest in your hobbies or even like develop them into actual professions. And I feel like it's more possible here than any other country.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Jacqui.
Thank you, Jasmin.
This was part 1, independence.
Out of
4.
Not all about independence.
Not all
covered
about
everything.
independence, because I don't have anything else to say about this. So tune in next week for part 2.
Yeah. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that one.
me too.
Alrighty.
So
Is this
goodbye.
it? Are we done?
Yeah.
Are we finished?
This concludes All About the U.S. Part 1, Independence.
Okay. And that's a wrap.
I'll see you next week.
Okay.
And before that.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
bye.
Bye. Goodbye. listening. Please follow us on Instagram at Chutzpah_time. That's CHUTZPAH_time, where we post updates and reminders so you don't miss any of our episodes or shenanigans. We also are on Facebook and YouTube at Chutzpah Time Podcast, and on Twitter, Chutzpah Time. Thank you again, and goodbye.